we see that the trauma, because a lot of times we do have the mindset, oh, I'll just deal with it myself. And dealing with it myself a lot of times looks like you're just suppressing it, but
you have all this trauma. That's mine now. Like, that's my trauma now. We're fighting about stuff that, is triggered because of like your relationship with your father. That's not, you go figure that out.
Right.
That's like, we have to figure that out.
I suppressed every negative emotion I ever felt, and I would not deal with it. So, but then as I got older, now in my later 20s, it's like, you have to be able to feel the emotion.
Right.
Don't delve into the emotion and be a victim. So I've always been very open about my trauma. Like, I'll tell anyone, I'm like, I was beat. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but not really though.
No,
you brush over with it.
I joke about it. Yeah,
You joke about it, which isn't being open about it.
But
You're not being
I
vulnerable.
would open up about it. Like, it wasn't like something that I would
Not talk about at all.
Not talk about. Yeah, but like, in difference from like with you wouldn't talk about any. It took years for us to
Well,
find.
I didn't even know it was there.
yeah.
I was
Right.
like, I'm
Yeah.
just good.
You asked for it though, because we were on one of our first hikes, and you're like, yeah, I really want to do the ayahuasca because I don't even know what my trauma is.
Yeah.
And then it's like, now you've got it.
Yeah.
You got the answer.
Yeah, which is great because
Right?
now we're going to go do ayahuasca next month. And it's like, at least I know what I'm going to go work through.
Right.
Versus like coming in and just getting blindsided by all of it.
Yeah.
But I think what helps motivate us to be able to do it is that we see that the trauma, because a lot of times we do have the mindset, oh, I'll just deal with it myself. And dealing with it myself a lot of times looks like putting it back
Shoving
under
it
the
under.
rug.
Yeah, that's right.
Put it in
It's
this
dealt-
drawer.
it's
It's
dealt
like,
with.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
it's good. I just won't say that anymore. I won't act this way anymore. You're just suppressing it, but not really dealing with
That's
it.
true.
But when we see how, when we are in so much love with our partner and value our partner, how much it hurts them, our unresolved trauma, and then that motivates us to actually dig in there. And because I know that for me, it was like, I'm like, oh wow, these things, these small things that I'm doing, they're hurting Nicole when I'm doing those things.
Yeah.
And so
Right.
I need to actually really resolve. Because if it was just me on my own,
You
it
could
doesn't
just-
matter.
yeah, brush
you
over
know,
the rug
and
it's
keep
like,
going.
or even
Yeah.
Nicole will say sometimes, I just avoid negative people. And it's like, well, it's not an option now when you got a daughter and you've got, it's like, so it's, we could handle the things on our own because we could just avoid the things that hurt us.
Right.
Like,
That make
oh,
you
that
feel
thing punches
uncomfortable.
me.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I can just, I'm living my life independently, but you're coming into contact with another human being every single day. You
That's
can't
true.
just go some
Well, and
other
that's what
direction.
we talk about that. Like,
Yeah.
And I think that was a little aha moment was when we looked at each other. We're like, look, like, you have all this trauma. That's mine now. Like, that's my trauma now.
Yeah.
Like, we're fighting about stuff that, is triggered because of like your relationship with your father. Like, that's not, you go figure that out.
Right.
That's like, we have to figure that out. Like,
Yeah.
because it's the rest of our lives
Yeah.
is because
But
of
at
this. And
first-
my shit too. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, at first I was like, figure that out.
yeah.
I'm going to figure out
I
my
was like-
shit. We'll show up for each other. You're the right person.
I was like, I need to figure myself out.
and I was like,
and
yeah,
it was
please go figure
literally-
that out.
it was
Because
literally
like, that's a lot.
Yeah, like me turning myself away, don't look at me. Like, yeah, I'm damaged. I'm all these things, and I'm trying to
Yeah.
put on this facade, and I'm just trying to heal through these things, and yeah, I'm good. But it was almost putting on this fake front of toxic positivity.
Right.
When we met, I was I was 21. I was like, there's no such thing as anxiety. I had an aha moment. I was like, anxiety isn't real. You can tell yourself these things and you can just be positive. But then I suppressed every negative emotion I ever felt, and I would not deal with it. But I needed to do that at that point to teach myself, okay, it's good to be positive and to hone that skill.
Right.
But then as I got older, now in my later 20s, it's like, you have to be able to feel the emotion.
Right.
Don't delve into the emotion and be a victim.
Right.
But you also
you
can't
gotta
just
feel it.
But you also can't
Yeah.
just put a fucking smiley face on it and pretend
Yeah.
everything's fine, because that's what I did for a long time. And
Got to process it.
I didn't
Exactly.
process it. I was just like, okay, yep, I'm happy. Life is fine. Posting positive, captions on my
Vibes.
Instagrams
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
but it
But
wasn't real.
we had to trust each other to open up about this is honestly what I'm dealing with and how I'm feeling. And
Yeah.
now
Yeah.
let's deal with it together.
Yeah.
Which
Because-
is a crazy thing to take on. It's like,
Well, because sometimes you feel like you need the motivation of someone else, like John said. it
100%.
makes me more motivated than I could ever say to be the best version of myself for you. Even if I'm like, I'm okay like this, you know, like but when you tell me like these things are affecting you or they're affecting my life and it's affecting you or whatever, I'm like, I don't want that for you.
Right.
So even if I get to a point where I'm like, well, I've been living like this, so it's fine.
fine,
You know, it's
Yeah.
not fine. And I don't want you to deal with that.
Yeah.
And then once you deal with it too, and you help me deal with it, then I'm like, wow, you're free. Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can let one of the bags down of your
Yeah.
baggage and not pick it up again.
And that's the power of like the partnership. It's like
Yeah.
when you're living for other people, you do so much more versus
Right.
if you're just living for yourself. Because it's so easy just if you're living for yourself, it's like, what do I really need? Not that much. You know, I can just kind of get, but you know, keep. But when I'm living for someone else, like I got to show up so much harder,
Right.
which means not only just like throughout day-to-day life, but also like I need to like handle all my internal shit now so that I can continue to be a better person for her.
Yeah.
I'm 100 times better like person with you day in and day out. Like every day just gets better with you. Like we have so many deep conversations about growth, about like our mental, physical, spiritual, like financial growth, everything.
Yeah.
And like I'm a better daughter, I'm a better friend, I'm a better like I truly, and it's truly because of you. And like
Thanks, baby.
you do,
Same.
but like, and that's how you know, like when you are in something that is like powerful and like where you shouldn't settle into a relationship. Like if you're in a relationship that's bringing up traumas, but they're just perpetuating the same fucking
Right.
dark, ugly circle, get out of that. Like get out of that immediately. But if you're in a relationship that brings up traumas and then you start seeing the cycle, but then you're like, wait a minute,
We're gonna break that.
we're gonna break this
Yeah.
fucking cycle right now.
Yeah.
Like, then you know you're in the right thing because like it's so empowering. And the beautiful thing, you know, like what you were saying is like you show up as a better partner for John is because he's your family.
Yeah.
And like showing up better for your family, that is like my biggest intention. Like John is my family. Like he is my number one. And then one day we'll have, you know, more, like we'll like, you know, start multiplying. and I want to be like the best possible mom.
What
And
better motivation is there than that?
then,
right?
then my
Yeah.
then my
Your family.
husband, then my children, then like my children's children, and to be able to create a household that doesn't have to perpetuate negativity and trauma. And like, yes, they're gonna have their own trauma, like their own, right?
Right.
It's gonna.
That's what I tell John all the time. I'm
Yeah,
like,
hopefully a lot different.
even if we're perfect or, you know, there's going to be something that Sophia will take with her,
Yeah.
but at least we'll know that we gave her way better than a lot of people give their
More
kids,
than what we
you
had
know?
ourselves.
Right,
And
exactly.
it is possible. Let's see, a lot of people that are going to watch are never going to believe this, but I will tell you, I will swear on anything, on my life, on Nicole's life, on everything, that we do not yell at Sophia, not even one time. Not one time. No calling names, not even raising our voice and yelling at her. Neither of us does it. And the only way that that's possible is through us working on ourselves through our relationship. And it's a great thing that you can provide to a child
100%.
that you can parent in that way where you don't parent with anger. And I don't know very many people that are able to do that, but that's where like that deep work of working on yourself and the relationship, it really does.
Yeah,
benefit
that's
the
what we're
child.
hoping to do. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like we don't want to, especially like she grew up in such a
I grew up in
like,
a household
loud,
just-
yelling,
Yeah.
abusive home. It's like we can't give that
It's
to our
not
kids.
healthy. Like
Yeah.
there is no reason unless.
But how do we
like,
not give that to our
unless
kids?
your
We have to
child
make
is
sure
like
we're not
in
that with each
grave
other.
danger,
Exactly.
like a car's
Oh
coming.
yeah.
Right.
Get over here, like you
Right.
know, like that's like that makes sense, right?
Right.
But like if your kid did something, no, like I am so, and like even to each other, like there's like I refuse to like yell at John. You know, like will I get elevated? Yes.
We've had a little bit of the. We're working.
Yeah.
We're getting better.
Everybody's had a moment. Like
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
we've
Yeah.
had a moment of like,
Oh, for sure.
obviously if it's like an extreme issue
Yeah.
Yeah.
where you get
Let's be
kind
real.
of
We've
caught
had it.
away
Yeah.
in it. But there's a
it's the
difference
exception
between
versus the pattern.
it's happened once or twice
Yeah.
versus
Yeah.
it happens
Patterns.
once or twice a
Every
week
time. Yeah.
Exactly.
in other
And-
people's
Exactly.
households.
Exactly. And like I've been in relationships / like have been in households, like grew up in a household that yelling was the norm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yelling is
Yeah.
not our norm.
Yeah.
Our norm is like,
We
hey,
can't do
tone.
that. yeah. Yeah, tone. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's our
That's
word.
good.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
tone, I don't appreciate
Whoa,
how you
whoa,
spoke
that
to me.
tone, you
You
don't
know?
need to use
And I'm
that.
like, oh, the way you spoke to me was a little inappropriate. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, you're right. That was
That's
a little
good.
inappropriate.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a good tip.
And but it's just respect, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't ever want to disrespect you because if I disrespect you, I'm disrespecting myself.
Yeah.
Better than perfect, we stay.